Hello, fam. Thank you for tuning in. It is Friday, September the 21st. And of course, this is the press release, and I'm your host, Portia Bright. I'm so glad you had the opportunity to join me tonight. If this is your first time actually joining me for the press release. The press release is all about news and information that you need to know about. And I do it every Friday at 8 o'clock p.m. And so I'm always here on social media, posting information and things like that. You can actually head over to my page and you will actually see everyday information, news, and things like that that you need to know about. And so, yeah, let's get into what I actually have for you this particular week. Now, Hurricane Florence actually came through here just a little shy of a week ago, and a lot of people are still trying to recover right now. And with many North Carolina communities hit hard by Hurricane Florence, state agencies are continuing their comprehensive response and recovery efforts here in North Carolina. And a lot of people are probably sitting in shelters and things like that, wondering why they haven't maybe seen any type of improvements or anything. And some may have seen some improvements. But I want to share some information with you in terms of how the recovery efforts are taking place. Now, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services have ensured that 600,000 households enrolled in a food and nutrition service program can purchase hot food using their EBT cards and so forth. Now, DHHS experts have added flexibility to Medicaid to help patients access care and for doctors and other healthcare providers to deliver services and so forth. Now, for somebody who basically probably, lost their job and during the flood and stuff like that, and haven't pretty much been able to figure out what you're going to do about making sure that you can actually, start preparing to make sure you have the necessary resources for your family. I want to let you know that the Disaster Unemployment Assistance Program is now available for North Carolinians unable to work due to Florence through the North Carolina Department of Commerce. And so what you'll be able to do is pretty much go upload your information to Division of Employment Security. And that information you can actually dial to do that over the phone as well, because I know a lot of people aren't able to get from here, there, into each place and so forth. And so for that number, you'd actually call 1-866-795-8877 for more information on that, because you're actually going to need that, especially if some things happen to your job. Now, you see going across the screen right now is information for you to begin registering with FEMA to start your application. Because I know a lot of times people wonder how long or how early can I begin doing my application. Well, that process is actually available for you now. And if you actually follow the process that I have going across the screen, you can get started on that process with FEMA by actually calling 1-800-621-FEMA to register your damages and things like that. And I'm pretty sure they'll give you the next step in terms of what you're supposed to be doing next in order to go ahead and get prepared and actually start signing up. Now, I also want to let you know too that the North Carolina Department of Agriculture is also providing disaster planning for farms and agribusinesses impacted by Hurricane Florence. There are 25 North Carolina counties that are authorized for Farm Service Agency emergency loans for eligible family farmers through the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And those counties here are some of the counties that are up there. That's Bladen, Brunswick, Carteret, Chatham, Columbus, Craven, Cumberland, Dublin, Greene, Harnett, Hoke, Johnson, Jones, Lee, Lenoir, Moore, Onslow, Pender, Pitt, Robeson, Sampson, Scotland, Wayne, and Wilson County. Now, applications may be received for physical and production losses through May 17, 2019. And so you'd be able to actually get some type of support for that. If you're a farmer and you need help, I know I've been riding around my town and I've been seeing signs that say support farmers. Well, throughout the flood process, the North Carolina Department of Agriculture wants to make sure that you're covered. So this is actually the process that you can actually do that. And also, I want to let you know, for people who are going through, hardships and so forth with your home, and you're a homeowner, and you're, worried about what's going to possibly come next in terms of, if you can prevent foreclosure and things like that. Let me tell you about this. Now, the North Carolina Foreclosure Prevention Fund can help homeowners who are struggling due to job loss or temporary unemployment, reduction of income, or temporary financial hardships because of natural disasters such as Hurricane Florence. You can actually get some help now. Don't wait. Start the process right now, because everybody over this country knows that the East Coast is going through a situation that they would actually need support. And, I've been watching those briefings that the governor has been doing. And in fact, through my job personally, I've, been on the phone with, cabinet members and stuff like that from various departments across the state who have been talking about all of the efforts that they've been undergoing, as well as some of the entities, as well as states who are actually supporting the Carolinas and those who are impacted by the storm. So this is not just a local effort. This is a statewide effort, a federal effort, and people all across the country are keeping us in their prayers, which is always a plus because we can use it. Now, also, I want to share with you, taxpayers and businesses in federally declared disaster counties will get more time to file their taxes with both state and the IRS. So, while I've been dissecting a lot of this information, I come across so many different resources that I wanted to make sure that people knew about. So that way, they know how to take the next steps in order to make sure that they had everything they needed and they were getting the process started, in terms of recovering from Hurricane Florence. Now, also, one thing that we always have to worry about when, there's a natural disaster or with any situation is scammers. Yes, they're always on their job. It doesn't matter where we are, what we're doing. It doesn't matter. Scammers are always on their job. And so I wanted to tell you about something that is very important. The Office of Attorney General is actually warning consumers about price gouging in North Carolina. The office is actually encouraging citizens to report potential price gouging by calling 1-877-5-NO-SCAM. So we can actually stop some of these people who are actually out here taking advantage of people who are going through things, And so hopefully you'll actually do that. I haven't had any people contact my office specifically yet in regards to price gouging in North Carolina, but I know during 2016 when Hurricane Matthew came, there were people who would actually price gouging. So thank God these people aren't taking advantage of people during Hurricane Florence. Now, I also want to let you know that there are a few other things I have to tell you about. I do. So hold on one second. I got to pull it up because I want to let you know that you need to also, like if you're a business owner or anything like that, that you are actually contacting the North Carolina Department of Commerce in regards to your business. In fact, Business Link North Carolina is offering information and referrals to recovery resources to help you get back on your feet. And trained counselors are available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. toll free. And that number is actually going across the screen right now. So if you need information on that, you will be able to have it. So that's totally it on that in terms of their hurricane effort, in terms of updates and so forth like that. Now, we all know, I know you probably saw my agenda and everything, but I want to let you know that although that we're, going through hurricane recovery and helping people who've been displaced get back on their job, or, get back into their home or into their community, we also have to be, pay attention to that the upcoming elections are coming up. And, that's a day that's not going to go anywhere. Like it's November the 6th is going to be there. And so I wanted to let you know about a specific campaign that was actually taking place too. And it's called When We All Vote. Now, when we all vote, I actually came across that, I'm always doing research. I'm always getting information about various things and so forth. And so I actually came across the When We All Vote campaign via email. It was sent to me and I looked at it and I thought like, hey, I got to get this information into my community. Like people need to know about this because this is important. And so voting is one of the most important things that we can actually do besides, work and so many other things. And so I want to tell you about When We All Vote. It's actually a national week of action that's basically encouraging registration, voter registration for early voting and participation in the midterms. The election is actually coming up in November the 6th, in our case. Here in North Carolina is where I am. And so when we all vote, it's basically a nonpartisan nonprofit that aims to bring together citizens, institutions, and organizations to actually join a national conversation about voting and the importance of voting, and making sure that we're letting our neighbors, people in the community, know how important that it is for people to be able to vote and stuff. And so I actually wanted to bring this to my community because I wanted them to be a part of the conversation. I wanted them to join the national conversation because it's actually taking place all over the United States. For the National Week of Action, people will actually host events to get people to register to vote, let them know about the upcoming election, and provide them with information that they need to be able to cast their ballot when it comes November. And also here in North Carolina, I know I'm actually in Greenville, North Carolina. Early voting begins October the 17th. And so that deadline to actually register to vote is October the 12th. And so that's why it's so important for us to go ahead and get ahead of everything, so that way we make sure that we have all the necessary information to be able to go and vote. Now, I want to share a little bit something too with you about this specific organization. The organization, When We All Vote, is actually led by some of America's most trusted voices, including the very own Michelle Obama, of course, Tom Hanks, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Janelle Monáe, Chris Paul, Faith Hill, Tim Grahl, and supporters just like me and you. So they're actually, using their platforms to have the conversation themselves. And so I'm thinking to myself, we have all these mega stars and things like that, having a conversation. I know I can use my platform. I'm not a big mega star or anything like that, but it starts right here where you are, and so that's why I wanted to bring that conversation to the community. So it's going down this week, starting September the 22nd through the 29th. When We All Vote campaigns will be taking place here in Pitt County. So I want to encourage you to host your own event. Get involved. Like, there are so many ways that you can actually, get involved. Like, you can host an event anywhere. Like, it doesn't even have to be perfect. Literally, it doesn't. Like, people think to hold voter registration drives, you have to do this, you have to have that, and you really don't. Like, you can literally just have your own voter registration drive. All you need is a chair, a pen, registration cards, a good friend to go with you for great conversation to keep you company, and there you have it. Like, literally. But make sure before you actually post up at any location that you make sure you gotten permission from that. Like, you can, possibly call up your local pastor and ask them, can you set up a table outside in their foyer where, when people come into church, they'll actually see you maybe sitting over by the bathroom, because you never want to be in a place where you're making people feel awkward or anything like that. You know what I mean? So you want to make it organic as possible. Just, politely say, hey, have you gotten registered to vote? Like, have you submitted your voter registration forms? Or, did you know that the upcoming election was taking place? Because a lot of times people don't even know that the elections are coming up. We're all guilty of, getting so bogged down with everyday circumstances, or just, getting so involved in our jobs and our school and so many things that we do every day that we forget about certain things, like even voting. Or some people may be just discouraged about voting. But anyway, back to the registration drives. One other suggestion that I would give to you is to go to your favorite local grocery store. Ask the manager where you frequent all the time if it would be okay for you to set up a table, a small fold-up table by drink machines. You're not in the way, you're not hurting anybody, and you're able to, talk to people as they're coming in, ask them if they voted. And in fact, they'll see you before you see them, literally. Because sometimes when, you're posted up out at certain particular positions, people are wondering if you're selling anything. But in this particular case, hey, you have a little sign or something that you can actually print up or write up with a marker. Voter registration taking place here. See, that's what I'm saying. Anybody can actually, partake in voter registration. Like, it doesn't matter what your social economic status is, who you are, where you have a voice and you have the ability to use it. Like, and it's so important for you to be able to do that. Nobody can take that away from you. You're the only person who can actually do that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why it's so important for you to host your own voter registration drive. You say people say they want to do something in the community. It starts right where you are. You know, it's the simple things. And so once you get engaged and get involved into doing, things that you feel are, worthwhile or giving back to, you'll feel so fulfilled. I'm telling you, I'm literally telling you, you will. So this week I'll actually be doing it too. And although that I've been a part of many organizations and stuff like that, I think voter registration is one of the coolest things ever, because you get the opportunity to connect with people, talk to people, hear some of what their ideas are. Because Michelle Obama said one thing: when we get to voting, I feel like plans begin to take place. You know what I mean? Like, plans take place and you're able to do different things and you're able to come up with different things. And so I want to actually share that quote with you. In fact, let me pull it up so that way I'm giving you all the information verbatim. Like, I don't want to take anything out of context because it was so juicy when I heard it. She says, when we all vote, new ideas and new energy comes to light, says Michelle Obama. And she's actually, as I mentioned to you, she's actually the co-chair of When We All Vote. And so when we get leaders that share your values, she says in a national public service announcement that people start getting active. Like, they want to do something. They want to be involved with what is taking place. And particularly during this election cycle, so many important things are on the ballot besides just the people's names. But in our case, in North Carolina, there will be 6 constitutional amendments on the ballot. And then you can actually head over to my page, the press release for you to actually see information about that, about those 6 constitutional amendments, because I've actually shared that on previous shows. So you'll be able to check it out. And so I want to encourage you to do that. Get out, do your thing, host your events this week, National Week of Action of When We All Vote. And I feel like you'll have a good time. Like, make it a party. You know what I'm saying? Just have fun with what you're doing. And the thing about it is, you're doing something that's going to change lives. Like, you're getting people to vote. You can even possibly come across a person who's never voted before. Can you believe that? For me, when I first experienced that, when I first registered my first person, that person had never registered before. And can you imagine the feeling that I have? Like, if you know me, then you know I get excited about certain things. Like, and for me, that was one of those situations where I got excited. I feel like, first of all, it was my first time doing voter registration, and to actually cross paths with somebody who had never voted before or had never did any voter registration, I felt like it was phenomenal. So I want to encourage you to do that. Now, as I begin to wrap up this show, I want to make sure that you go ahead. I can't say this enough. Go ahead and start preparing yourself to go ahead and make sure you're filing those claims with FEMA and everything, because that's important. Call up your family and friends and see how they're doing. Make sure everything is going okay. And I feel like once we band together and do things together, I feel like more people can be helped. So let's do our part, guys, and make sure we do it well. So I appreciate you for listening tonight on the press release with Portia Bright. Of course, you can head over and follow me anytime you want, of course, for more information about what I'm doing, what's going on. And before I go, I also want to let you know that the North Carolina Disaster Relief Fund is actually now accepting donations. You can actually start donating now to the North Carolina Disaster Relief Fund, because they are actually accepting donations. And you want to go ahead and do that because there are so many people that actually need help. Like, I can't stress that enough. I really can't. And so I want you to go ahead and get engaged with that. And also, here is the information that you need is actually going across the screen right now. But guys, I really appreciate you listening to me. I really appreciate the support. And I hope this information helps you help someone else, get reacclimated back to the community, back to their home after the disaster and, everything that they're going through. And I hope you'll stay encouraged as well. And in fact, I would like to, before I close tonight, say a good prayer for those people who are actually going through right now. So if you'll just bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you so much for bringing us here tonight together, Father. I want to ask that you wrap your edge of protection around those people who are going through tonight, Father, who are displaced from their home. I also ask that you give them the wisdom and knowledge and understanding, Father, that they will need to be able to start over, Father, and that they will have comfort in knowing that there is an angel that is coming to help them and will protect them and can help them get back into their lifestyle, Father. I thank you for all that you're doing, and I ask that you continue to put in a word of strength and help, Father, for those who are looking to donate, Father. I ask that you give them the ability to do so, and I ask that you restore that within them 10 times over. In Jesus' name, I thank you so much. Amen. Well, that's it, guys. I thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you again next week. Peace.